was for compassion's sake. We're the liberals. We're compassionate. Let's get these people off the street. That's not the view of the, whatever word we're going to come up with for this. Their view of the homeless is they're an endangered species that needs to be protected in their natural habitat. Living their best life under a bridge. You know, that to me is crazy. That's the kind of things, I haven't changed on that. I still think we should get these people off the street. That's the compassion sake. So I didn't change, they changed, and there's lots of examples of that.
You knew how wrong it was when tens of millions of South Africans had been treated like second-class citizens just because of their race. But here's the thing. Today, right now, hundreds of millions of women are treated worse than second-class citizens. When you mandate that one category of human beings don't even have the right to show their face, that's apartheid. And it goes on in a lot of countries.
Bill Maher stepped right into Sonny Hole's argument and completely broke it apart, showing everyone her surprising hypocrisy in a very clear way. Hostin often wraps herself in women's rights and talks proudly about free speech, but she somehow stays completely quiet when women outside her safe world are hurting. Ma didn't even hesitate or back away. He pulled off the mask and didn't leave her any place to hide. So if you like sharp political talk with no filters at all, hit the subscribe button, because this is only the beginning.
Innocent civilians that have been collectively punished and murdered, largely children and women. And are you at all concerned about the fact that the International Criminal Court just today issued a subpoena for Bibi Netanyahu?
Well, that's ridiculous, but it's a war.
Why?
It's a war. Because it's a war, and they were attacked, and they're defending themselves. Now, this is a war. Do you think Hamas needs to be destroyed? This is the question.
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
So how can we get out with a ceasefire?
All right. So Hamas needs to be destroyed because they are a terrorist organization who say openly that they want to commit genocide on the Jewish people, on the state of Israel. That's what from the river to the sea mean.
And just like that, Bill Maher pulls back the curtain and shows Sonny Hostin's clear double standards right out in the open. Hostin, who often tries to present herself as a strong voice for women's and children's rights, tried to place the blame for the Middle East conflict completely on one side. But Maher didn't accept that, not even for a moment. He pushed back with a point she didn't seem ready for. You can't wrap yourself in the banner of human rights while ignoring the other side of the story when it doesn't fit your view. That's not real support, that's just acting. And Maher went even further, breaking down her argument piece by piece. In his view, the movements and political systems he is talking about have a very serious history, including denying women basic rights like voting, driving, owning property, and many other freedoms. The silence around that is loud and impossible to ignore.
There's old school liberals, which I would mostly count myself as, old school conservatives. There's still some of those left.
You've changed, though.
Wait, what are the other two?
Go ahead.
Well, that's what I was trying to find out in this book. I don't think I have. And, you know, we were saying in the break, we have to come up with a new word for woke. Let's have a contest, because this is a word that's triggering. But, I mean, those concepts that are different than they were 5 years ago. I mean, we used to do, well, you did it. I was a guest on what was the homeless show? Comic Relief.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
You were, great show.
Yeah.
And homeless was a term that I thought we kind of came up with because people were calling them bums and vagrants and hobos.
Yeah, now that's
homeless. No.
It's unhoused.
Well, it's people experiencing homelessness. But they're experiencing it on the street.
Cornered and exposed, Hostin went back to her old, familiar move and used a guilt trip. She looked Maher straight in the eye and told him he had changed, that he wasn't the same bold voice who used to attack the right side at every chance he got. And why was she suddenly disappointed? Because Maher refused to take the bait. Hostin had thrown out those powerful words, women and children's rights, expecting Maher to react on instinct and automatically agree with her story without questioning it. But Maher didn't react the way she expected. He didn't put on a show. Instead, he did something that seemed almost shocking in that moment. He looked at the issue with a clear mind, trying to be fair and honest, without letting political loyalty cloud his thinking. And to Hostin, that seemed unacceptable. Because for some people, simply thinking for yourself feels like the biggest betrayal of all.
Okay, the liberal view of that was, for compassion's sake, we're the liberals, we're compassionate. Let's get these people off the street. That's not the view of the, whatever word we're going to come up with for this. Their view of the homeless is they're an endangered species that needs to be protected in their natural habitat. Living their best life under a bridge. You know, that to me is crazy. That's the kind of things, I haven't changed on that. I still think we should get these people off the street. That's the compassion sake. So I didn't change, they changed, and there's lots of examples of that.
Maher doesn't just ignore the guilt trip. He turns it right back around and fires back hard. He says it's not him who has changed. It's the left that has changed. And in his view, it has been moving in the wrong direction for years. The reason, he argues, is woke thinking slowly breaking down the core ideas that liberalism was built on. Maher supports his point with an example that's hard to dismiss. He says liberals used to push to help homeless people get off the streets, not to punish them, but to give them support, care, and dignity. Then, he says, the woke movement came in and shifted that idea completely, claiming that stepping in was wrong, and that leaving people on the streets was somehow the kinder choice, as if the streets were simply where they were meant to be. The results, he claims, are easy to see. Homelessness has grown a lot in strongly democratic states like California, and big cities have turned into serious messes. In his view, this is what happens when extreme ideas take over and push real compassion out of the way.
You knew how wrong it was when tens of millions of South Africans had been treated like second-class citizens just because of their race. But here's the thing. Today, right now, hundreds of millions of women are treated worse than second-class citizens. When you mandate that one category of human beings don't even have the right to show their face, that's apartheid. And it goes on in a lot of countries.
Here, Maher turns his focus directly on the hosts of The View and points out what he sees as their clear, one-sided thinking. He says they are very quick, almost too quick, to accuse a country of oppression when it is one they don't like. But when a country they support does similar things, or even worse, the conversation suddenly gets quiet. The cameras are still rolling, but the strong anger and criticism just seem to fade away. And according to him, these examples are not hard to find at all. In some strict political and legal systems, women face heavy limits on what they can wear, where they can go, how they live, and what jobs they can do, along with many other parts of daily life. He says this is real, well-documented suffering that millions of women are dealing with right now. So the simple point Maher is making is this: if you are willing to speak out against oppression in one place, then you should also have the same courage and fairness to speak out everywhere. Picking and choosing when to be outraged is not real advocacy. It is just politics.
But it struck me that in the first segment you used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're...
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected.
Yeah.
So the term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized. And so I was surprised to hear you use the term, because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the Black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words
and
migrate.
So why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice. Who's not for that? But words do migrate. Now, I'll use any term you want.
Okay.
Because maybe that is a word that's triggering, and so let's not use that word. I don't know, want to call it the super far left?
And Maher is absolutely right. The word woke didn't start out as something bad. It began with a real meaning, which was to stay aware of injustice and unfair treatment. It meant keeping your eyes open to people who had been ignored for too long. That was a meaningful and important idea. But over time, things started to go off track. The people pushing the woke idea kept stretching it more and more, attaching it to beliefs that felt less and less normal or reasonable to everyday people. Over the last 10 years, the word slowly stopped meaning awareness. Instead, it started to mean something completely different. Today, it has become a big label used for many extreme, out of touch, and sometimes even completely ridiculous ideas coming from the far left. Ideas that don't really match how most people think or live their daily lives. And that is the main issue here. A good idea was taken, pushed too far, and turned into something that now pushes more people away than it brings together.
Well, if you're out protesting for a couple of hours wearing this, You have to go all the way and spend an afternoon running errands wearing one of these. You can't side with the people who ruthlessly oppress women without at least getting a taste of what you're supporting. Well, now that summer is here and the Hamas-backing college protesters have dispersed back to their summer internships at Goldman Sachs, I thought it might be a good time to say this. I actually admire your youthful idealism, and our world would be poorer without it. Much like your parents who just wasted 300 grand on that ignorance factory you call a college.
And Maher is right on target here. A lot of young Americans have been pushed towards slogans and movements that might not truly match their own beliefs. The same people they are standing up for would often never show that same support in return. The sad reality is that many young Democrats truly do want to improve the world around them. That feeling is real, and it deserves respect. But instead of being guided carefully, they're often led in the wrong direction by older voices who really should know better. And the issue goes even deeper than that. Too many of these young people are not being given a strong, honest education that teaches them how to think for themselves and question what they hear. Instead, they're spending hours on social media, absorbing confusing or misleading information that is presented like it is the truth. Good intentions are being turned against them through poor guidance. And that is a very risky mix.
Here's what Yasmin said about veiling. It just suppresses your humanity entirely. It's like a portable sensory deprivation chamber, and you are no longer connected to humanity. You can't see properly. You can't hear properly. You can't speak properly. People can't see you. You can only see them. Just little things, passing people on the street and just making eye contact and smiling, that's gone. You're no longer part of this world. And so you very quickly just shrivel up into nothing under there.
And just think about that for a moment. In some places, women live under very strict rules about what they can wear, where they can go, and what happens if they break those rules. There is fear, pressure, and very little freedom, and that makes everyday life very hard for millions of women. This is not something rare or hidden. It is daily life for millions of people. But still, you almost never see strong voices from the far left speaking out about it. No big protests, no trending hashtags, and no real wave of outrage online. That silence feels very loud. But the moment a college in America talks about a dress code for women, everything suddenly changes. Outrage spreads fast. Social media lights up. Opinion pieces start showing up everywhere. And anger comes from all directions. The difference is easy to see, and for many people hard to accept. This kind of selective outrage, based on politics, doesn't feel like real passion. It feels more like performance, and many people find it frustrating that to the end. Maher's point is simple. Real support for women does not pick sides. You cannot choose when to be outraged based on politics and still call yourself a true supporter of human rights. If you stand for women, you should stand for all women, everywhere, all the time, without exception. And with that, we end today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.